You don't cook finish.
No.
Cook rice so you can smoke. So back to the talk. So the idea of drafting lining pattern. I've said it before. Judo was the idea of drafting lining pattern. What's that now?
The idea of
Drafting lining pattern different from the upper pattern.
Okay.
Any idea?
Especially when it comes to where this particular quarter and the vamp is joining, you should kind of separate them, like the distance, so that it won't be on top of the stitches.
In a nutshell, the idea of drafting lining pattern is so that seams, that's SEAM, stitches or seams, don't overlap.
Okay.
Right? When they overlap, they create that bulky feeling, which creates discomfort to the person wearing the shoe. So that's the idea of drafting lining pattern. So the pattern can come in different form depending on how you best can interpret your own. The pattern can come in different form. You must not use one particular person's pattern as your own. Some people draw their own having curves, some people draw their own just having a straight line. Likewise this back part, so you can come in different pattern how you want your own creativity to look like. But the most important thing is so that the sewings don't overlap and create discomfort. So it's just like drafting a new pattern from what we already have here. Now from what we have here, like I told you, this is just like an open lace derby shoe, right? This is just an open lace derby shoe, and when I say an open lace derby shoe, it has everything that a regular derby has. The vamp, the quarter part is laying on top of the vamp, right? Unlike the closed lace where the vamp is laying on top of the quarter. This one, the quarter is laying on top of the vamp, the tongue is here. Forget about all these perforations and all, because if we want to interpret this further, we can interpret it like this, right? A regular derby shoe or a regular quarter for a derby shoe. So we can interpret it like this and have this other one. Our tongue is here, we have our underlying allowance here, like that. So now, since this is a regular derby shoe, we just have some little editing on this part, having wingtip coming down to the counterpart. We can have our lining pattern similar to a derby pattern, because when all these parts were joined, they still form one upper pattern. So we can have our lining pattern just like a regular derby pattern. And for a regular derby pattern, like I told us, a regular derby pattern is divided into three areas. We have here the counter area, the quarter area, and the vamp area, right? The vamp area. So from the previous measurements we already got, we have 4 centimeters from the top and 7 centimeters from the bottom, which is not constant. Like I said, it's on your own discretion. It's not constant. But the idea of having this back open like this is because of that joining on the back as well, right? So this is just the best way we can join the counter and the quarter. So this is the best way we can join instead of joining it at the back, just like we did on the upper. Okay. So now let's divide this into segments. So for the bottom part, let me just highlight this stuff. Can I get a pen? Alright, I've seen one. So let me just retrace this thing so that it look like a regular derby shoe. So here we have what? This pen line now is the underlying allowance, right? So this one was the quarter line. Good. So here we have the underlying allowance. So how can we redraw this thing now so that stitches doesn't lap? It's actually simple, because stitches won't overlap on this one. Why? Because most of the underlying allowance that were scarred were just here, right? And here. So we don't have much problem. So we can just have our lining from this point where the quarter starts from, can just say let's just can we just do curve? Let me get it straight now. So we can just have this here. So now we've divided, and the conclusion of this tongue, it comes down to this part. So now this is very, very visible now. So now our quarter part has been removed like this. Alright? So the remaining part, which is this other part here, goes to the quarter. This one is the vamp, I mean. So let me just straight this out. So once we have this, we can now bring out this other part. So we can have dot here, and this joining here, can mark it, draft out this, draft out this, draft out this, and draft this out. I said something about the lasting allowance for lining. What's the lasting allowance for lining?
Lasting allowance for lining.
Yeah, the lasting allowance for lining.
The full lasting allowance subtracted by.
So, pause. So we have this dot here now. The idea of this dot here, who can tell me what's the idea of this dot? This dot that I'm putting now on.
Okay, that's where the tongue is top.
That's the where you cut the line.
So this is where I cut the lining so that it goes underneath.
Should I bring?
Carefully. So that it goes underneath that quarter. So it has to go from here. Now, why from here and not from any other places? Because, like I told us about that tongue, this is where that curve came from. This is where that curve. If you're making a regular Davis shoe, you should also go from this point, because that's where it will be clicking to to enter here. So I have this here, and I have this, I have this. So I've gotten this. Let me just do this. Right, so I've gotten this out. Now I can use a ruler and connect it. Now the cutting will be here, and I can just retrace this. Right, so this side too, you can have the splitting.
So which will be currently underlying allowance now?
When we get there, we'll discuss it. So this other part now. So this other part now. When we pivoted our pattern, where do we place our sharp stuff? Where do we place our compass when we pivoted? Placed on this point, right?
Yeah.
So we're just going to pivot this part now. What I actually needed was a solid but nevertheless, let's just continue. So now we'll pivot this part. Why didn't we pivot this part? Because from the original pattern, this part wasn't pivoted. The only pivotation was on this top, these vampires, because of this curve here. So now to pivot this, just like we did before, using this mark and mark at the bottom, we place them together just like this. Right? Just like this, marking our 1 point here. Right? So what we're going to draw next? So we can draw this out. Here's the point, right? Have this point here, have this point here, have this point here. Now, as we did the other one, we flip. And draw our tongue, right? So we can have this back here to bring this back to the bump point. So you can draw the front. Now we're not drawing anything. We're not drawing any special lining for the what do you call it, for the wingtip. Why? Because the wingtip is part of the vamp, and to be unnecessary to start having splitting for wingtip, something that is going on the line that's not visible to anybody. So we just best we do it like this. Alright, so we have this tongue here, So from here we have this, right? Then we'll connect this with a straight line. Now, which is now having the underlaying allowance. That was your question. Now for this part now, the part that is having the underlaying allowance is coming because the person wearing the shoe is wearing the shoe like this, right? So it won't be nice if the underlaying allowance is now facing backward, you understand? So it should be on this one, so that this one will relax on it. Do you understand?
The back, the counter underlaying allowance.
Counter underlaying allowance comes on this one. So you can also go and split this later. So we add underlaying allowance on this one. How many centimeter? Underlaying allowance, how many centimeter? 1 cm.
Yeah, 1 cm.
Underlaying allowance.
1.5.
Underlaying allowance.
Underlaying allowance.
Underlaying is 1 cm.
Underlaying allowance is 1 cm.
1.5. So underlaying allowance 1 centimeter or 10 mm, which is equal to 1 cm. So we have underlaying allowance here. Lasting allowance for lining is how many? So we have this like this. Lasting allowance for lining is how many?
It should be the same with the up and as this top.
1.6.
Sorry?
1.6.
1.6. How did you get 1.6?
2 cm subtracted by 4.
No, it's supposed to be 2 cm subtracted by
0.4. 7.
Yes.
That's 1.3.
But
Oh,
how are we
yeah, but-
subtracting it from the...
It's supposed to be shorter. Why? Because when we are lasting our shoe and both of them are together like this. Now we want this flesh part, which hold gum more, to be gluing to the fiber or insole. So we want to reduce this like this, so it can, and also have that scarred this thing.
Should be more flexible and start walking.
Than this bulky. Good. So that's the reason why we reduce. So this is this. Now I intentionally drew this so that we can understand, because when I ask the question, where is our line allowance coming from? Both of our shouts should be coming from this side, coming from this side. So I drew this one so that we can understand what I meant when I said of line allowance. So now I call this out. So if I should call this out now, right? If I call this out and place like this, do you see where the line allowance is going? Now it's there,
Yeah.
which is visible. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's only not visible if this is placed backward of it.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
So most preferably, it is advised to add lasting allowance on this one.
The underlaying allowance.
Yes, the underlaying allowance on this one, so that this one, so that this will just lay on it,
Okay.
and we already have that underlaying allowance going that way. Do you understand? So we'll call this out.
But if you put it here, that means this one has to, you have to change the position.
Something of that nature.
I understand.
Then that will make you to now start skiving this part. This one.
So we will add what we call trimming allowance. What's trimming allowance? How many centimeters trimming allowance? And what was trimming allowance?
0.5.
Sorry?
0.5 cm.
0.5
cm.
trimming allowance. Okay, 0.5 trimming allowance. So we'll add that trimming allowance on this part, so that when we place this, on this, right? So when we place this on this, and after sewing, we can now trim our allowance. So we'll add 0.5 round the quarter. So this is my 0.5 full. It might not be a 0.5, but this is my own.
0.5 used to look like 0.4.
So we have 0.5 round. Good. And this one, then we'll split this one later. Then for this part now.
So you add the underlying allowance on this one.
Yes, we add on the allowance on this one. So we'll just extend this line. We extend this line and add 1 centimeter to it. We'll cut this one the way it is like this. Remember we're cutting here. So whatever
The pattern is fine.
whatever we add, whatever we add, we're cutting it out like this. So let me just take out this part first. And for this tongue, we do a reduction on this tongue, line on this tongue for comfort as well. So for comfort as well, so we do a reduction on the tongue. So 0.5 here. So the tongue for the lining is around 0.5. So this place will be flexible for the person, so that it will not be too thick for the person and be over time to be injuring the person there. So we want it to be as flexible as possible, just this edge part. So we reduce the tongue by 0.5. This part,
That's the lining tongue.
the lining tongue, but it's not going. We're not reducing it all around, just the height. Just the height. You can see this, right? So just the height. So you can now cut this out. Right? So we can also separate this. And who can help us reduce 0.7 centimeters from the last number? So 0.7 centimeters, this should be 0.7 centimeters. This should be 0.7 centimeters. You just check. So 0.7 centimeters. So usually with your compass, not your divider.
From here to here.
The 0.7 is standard.
Yes.
So you want to 0.7. This is 0.
This is 0.5. Zero. No, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9.
Okay.
So we have our lining pattern here. We can clap ourselves, we don't reach. So this should be on this. So we can just use this now to. We can just use this now to reduce this other part.
As my eyes goes down.
You can use your ruler. I use your ruler, but so we have this.
That's why I did it.
Yeah.
No, that's not. You don't do now. Go check right. So we have this. We have this. We have this. So we can also separate this. Right. So we take this out. Take this out. And then we'll have the curve of this. Now, how are we going to flip this to have the other side? How are we flipping this to have the other side? We'll get the paper. So we get the paper. Since we want to flip, flipping is usually on a straight line. So we draw a straight line. There's the pattern. Now from this pattern now, we place this back. Where did our pattern stop from the feather edge? Here, right? So we can just check. So our pattern stop here from feather edge. Mind you, I corrected this. I took it because this one allowed to stop here from feather edge. So we go back to our straight line. We place this like this from our line, top line, to where our pattern stopped.
Okay, that is, you push this cuff part inside.
We are taking it out.
So you just
when it goes to
connecting
the
this.
last, when it goes to the last, it
come.
gets the shape. You can't. There's no way we can take this curve. We cannot start doing like this, drawing, flipping.
So the major focus is this dot here and
this dot
point.
and that dot.
Okay.
So the top remain constant, the bottom remain constant. So we draw this out. I think maybe I will just call this out so we can see what I'm doing. So call this out. So this is just the standard now. So place it back. So we drew this and this. So we can either flip the pattern together. Sorry, I've not drawn the bottom. So we can either flip the pattern or we just use this. So I can just connect this to this other side. Alright? Okay. So we'll do the same thing here. So this to this. Right? No trace. So now we can add our underlaying allowance. 1 centimeter. So we just draw. Here we can add our remaining 0.5. So let's extend it. So we do this. So we also cut this out. So we can just flip this and be sure that it's wrapped, right? So we just cut this together. Okay, so we're good. Our 1 centimeter almost look alike. Thank God. So we have this. So now next we can perforate this to create the opening where this is going to lay on. So perforate it, so we create the opening where this is going to lay on, right? And also the same thing on the side. So we do this. We have this. We have this. So this will be flipped into two, like this and like this. So we can have the other side. While this will be drawn to a pair of this. This one will be flipped, then this one flat, this one forfeit. Two on this side, two on the other leg. So like that. So we cut this out as well. If you're not good with using cutter, you can use scissors also. Not by force. The pattern should just be fine. So like this. So this I can open this line too. You can perforate it and open it thicker so that when you're cutting it out, you know what you're cutting. So I'm like this. So we'll go with our pattern. So with this, we can have the lining for this. Despite it being a designer's debut shoe, we can have a lining of a regular debut shoe. The most important thing is we have this part here. Right? We have this part here. We have this part at this part. We have this part at this part. And then we have the last part at the back. So everything is still aligned. Okay. So now this cutting now, see how it works. We open this place. So this is how it works.
Okay.
Right. So usually I don't know why this thing is not coming down to the bottom, but it's supposed to get down to this joining. Okay, I think it got there. So it's supposed to get to this joining here. So and this one stays. I don't know, maybe you figure it out. But that's how it's supposed to be. So you get down to actually and you join these ones. Like this.
Okay.
Align it like this. So when you're done, so this is here like this.
The trimming allowance is almost disappearing.
To appear back. So this is like this. So we have it like that. So do that.
Alright, sir.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you.
Theme.